This is Womp Rat Radio, and tonight we're talking about The Mandalorian Chapter 14 and 15, and we're also going to talk about Disney Investor Day and all the cool Star Wars stuff that's coming out. Stick around.
You're listening to WRRT, Womp Rat Radio, Tatooine.
Iceland Spaceport. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Impressive. Most impressive. You are not a Jedi yet.
The Force is what gives the Jedi his power.
I love you.
I know.
Princess, it binds the galaxy together.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
No disintegrations.
As you wish.
Half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
This is where the fun begins.
At last, we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi.
Feel. Don't think. Use your instincts.
This is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Ahsoka. My name is Ahsoka Tano.
Why did you come here?
Because of you and your apprentice.
You already know the truth.
It's worse.
Ranger Crest, do you copy? Have to reduce speed.
Almost there.
Ranger Crest, do you copy?
May the Force be with you.
Your destiny lies with me, Skywalker. Obi-Wan knew this to be true. War's not make one great.
Thank Varric, that was close.
You were right. You were right about me.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. With me tonight, as always, I have some buddies with me. Jimmy, what's happening? It looks like you're on Tatooine.
What's up, pal? How are you?
Not too much, my man. Thanks for joining me tonight. And
by the way,
go ahead.
By the way, out of the intro, I still like my favorite thing is Han saying you might want to quit while you're behind.
Yeah, you might want to quit while you're behind. And Mr. Solo, Stan Solo, how are you, man? I love the leg lamp behind you, by the way. I love the leg lamp behind you.
Leg lamps.
The Stormtrooper leg lamp. So
yeah,
I just got to point that out.
Speaking of Solo.
Yeah, speaking of Solo, that was the perfect segue. I should have waited. I could have used that, Jimmy. That was perfect.
Right in the Stan Solo. Han's second cousin on his father's side.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, those of you joining us out there. Glad you can make it, Kim. See you out there, and Stan out there commenting. Gotta love that guy out there commenting. There's so much happening, guys. There's so much news going on. I just figured we'd talk about Mandalorian, but then Disney dropped all this Investor Day news and so much going on. But dude, we had some sad news in the Star Wars universe happen today, which I just learned about actually. And that is the original Boba Fett passed away at 75 years old. So shout out there, right?
That's like two within almost a week, right?
Yeah. Well, we did this 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about Dave Browse. Then now we're talking about Jeremy.
Yeah, so 2 weeks. Yeah. So right back to back.
It is absolutely sad, and you got to at least shout that out because who knew that Boba Fett would be as popular, and what timing to be talking about that when we're going to be talking about Boba Fett here today. So it's kind of crazy the timing of that.
And he was such a gentle person too. When I met him, I got to talk to him for quite a bit, and he just seemed generally like a gentle person. I felt.
Absolutely, and that's what all the specials and things say about him. So that kind of stinks. But you know, it is what it is. We're gonna talk Mandalorian. So if you have not seen the last 2 episodes of Mandalorian, that's chapter 14 and 15. And you're watching a replay, you may want to jump ahead to the Investor Day news, but I thought we'd jump right into Mandalorian because it's been so cool and so much happening. And then for Investor Day to drop in the middle of it and you get to see where this expanded universe is going to go, it's absolutely unbelievable. So where we left after the end of chapter 13 last time, if you guys remember where we left it in the last time we went live, right? Bo-Katan was looking for Gideon. The Darksaber specifically. Gideon's looking for the asset. Mando was looking for the Jedi Temple, which Ahsoka Tano told him to go and find. Ahsoka was looking for Thrawn. And I said, where's Boba Fett? I want to know where this guy is. And we speculated that Ezra and or Sabine might be out there. So
we were also wondering Boba Fett was looking for, if you remember. We didn't know if he was looking for the asset or he was looking for his armor.
That is correct. That's absolutely right. And we learned that. In fact, chapter 14, the episode poster for it is Boba Fett. So cool.
Now, when you saw that title, did you go, oh?
Yes,
absolutely.
That's exactly what I said. I said, uh-oh.
I find myself doing exactly that because I'm watching it. I watch the title go by. You watch that opening sequence and you see the tragedy. You're like, no, what's going to happen?
I got a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this. And I even noticed on Disney Plus, they haven't named the episodes in season 2 yet when you go in. It's still just chapter. They didn't put the name
until they release it. They release the name of the episode along with when they release the.
If you go in and look at Disney Plus, it's not listed yet for season 2.
Like at all?
Show it's not there.
Oh, interesting.
Chris, how's it going? But season 1's there, which you would expect. But that's what I thought too. That was interesting as can be.
I like that they do that though, because those titles can be spoilerific.
Well, sure, because right now I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen in the next 45 minutes or however long this episode is? My mind's blown.
Yeah.
I wish they were longer.
I get it. I also like the previously on.
No, I don't. You don't? The previously on.
How come?
They spoil so much in that. Because it's like they show you who's going to be in this week's episode. So it's like, oh, Jennifer's going to be back. Surprise, surprise. And then when you hear, I got this eyes on you, well, you know immediately who it is before you even see it.
You're exactly right, because this was one of the clips from the previously on, and you're like, wait a minute, I remember when that happened.
Exactly. So you know who's going to be. You lose the surprise.
Lose the surprise, but it also does kind of call back to when this happened in chapter 5, and this figure comes up to Fennec, who we thought had been shot and killed. You're like, who is that? Is that Boba Fett? And the fan community had started, and
I think originally when we looked over this, I think we were all pretty much in agreement that it was Moff Gideon.
Yes.
Yes, I think we thought that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we all thought that.
And that was back.
Absolutely. Yes,
Kim needs the help.
True.
No, I skipped through it first viewing. I skipped through it. Then after I watch it.
I typically watch it, but going into this episode, Ed had messaged me before I watched it and said that he had talked to you, Stan, and said skip the previously on. So I did.
Okay.
So because chapter 13 there was a spoiler, and so then I decided I'm not watching this previously on anymore for his viewing.
All right. Well, because it harkens back to this, and I think I'm going to try that next time. So Ed couldn't be with us tonight, unfortunately. But this is when we last saw Fennec. It was in a gunslinger.
Yeah.
Right? And we thought she was done, and she got shot right in the stomach. How about that? Because
she was dead, but she's feeling better now.
She's feeling better now. Yeah. And there were other things on previously on, too, which catches you up.
About him. Place Grogu on the Seeing Stone at the top of the mountain.
So this is basically what Mando needs to do in this episode. Go find the Seeing Stone.
And come searching for him.
So then we see Mando heads down to the planet he was headed for. He sees where he needs to go with the child, with Grogu. And I love the comment. Looks like the last bits with the windows down.
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yep.
It was good. And then he just flies him over there. Which he lands, and not too soon after that. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention the blue butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
You guys notice those? They the Clone Wars a couple of times. I'm not sure what their significance is.
You know what I thought was going to happen? I thought he was going to use the Force to reach out to grab it, and that was going to set off the Seeing Stone.
Me too.
That's exactly
Mando walking around it, going. I think he said, "Where's the controls for this?"
Where's the controls? Maybe there's some controls around here. He's looking with this helmet. Yeah.
It was funny. It was
Switch.
Funny.
Great.
Yeah. Do they see you or do you see them?
Right. But that's also while he's doing it, it's when he kind of looks up, he hears a ship, and you go, "Oh man, what is that?" Oh, wait a minute. Oh man. And I'm just going nuts at that point. I'm like, now my mind's racing. The tragedy. Here comes Slave One. What the heck's going to happen? This is I was on the edge of my seat for this episode. Absolutely the whole time.
This is my favorite episode yet. Season 1, season 2.
I kind of agree. And there's a lot of cool stuff that comes up here. So he checks it out and he sees, Slave One's there. You see one person get out of it. He goes down to check out what it is, and we hear from Boba.
I want my armor that you got from Cobb Van back on Tatooine. My armor belongs to me.
Are you Mandalorian?
I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy, like my father before me.
So that comment right there, I'm a simple man making my way through the galaxy, is a direct quote from Attack of the Clones when Jango said exactly that. When he said, I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe. I just thought that was so cool.
And I use that quote about 5 times a week in my daily life.
I could see that. I just love that connection in that quote. I think it was the coolest thing. So that happens. We then see Fennec. You look like you saw a ghost. She shows off her bionic insides there where she got shot. The bionic ab. Yep. And then as they're doing this, and it looks like they're going to fight, and they don't fight, and then we see some transports landing with some Imperial forces, which to me immediately look like the First Order troop transports from The Force Awakens. Did you guys notice that?
Yep.
I did not.
That's what I saw right away. Immediately, that's what I saw. I'm like, this is the first thing we've seen in Mandalorian that isn't a shout backwards. It was kind of a forward-looking thing to. Absolutely. There's a connection to the First Order in this. That was kind of cool, I thought.
Yep.
Was the weapon Boba had canon? It is now, Chris. Because
what weapon is he talking about? I
think I know what he's talking about. Let me play a clip because
that right
one
there?
thing. Not that. Well, that's the bantha stick, right? But we found out that Boba Fett is absolutely
a badass.
Yes, and this is one of the most violent sequences I've ever seen in Star Wars. Right? Look at that stormtrooper mask. We've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, no.
Boba Fett's one, but he's after one thing. He notices the Razor Crest.
The door's unlocked.
You know what he's thinking. The door's unlocked. Yeah.
Wide open.
Well, Mando's famous for doing this. He lets the Jawas right in to take whatever the hell they want. No blasters there, Kim. Just head smashing. You're absolutely right. Then the next time we see him, because then it goes off to some other scenes. It was the other two fighting. And the next time we see him, bam.
Boba Fett was so awesome seeing Boba Fett showing why he was Boba Fett.
Yep. And I think the weapon that Chris is asking about is in this scene, and I'll tell you where to see it. He comes back and just takes him out.
I love this one here.
Yeah,
love that one.
Now here, what comes out of his knee?
Oh yeah.
That.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Chris, that's what you're talking about.
Mail away Boba Fett had those missiles on the knees. The original mail away Boba Fett that you would get. Yeah, they were on that sculpt even. Yeah.
I didn't get that one. I wasn't lucky enough to get it, but I didn't have one that shot out. So yeah, Chris, I don't know what that was, but then it was cool to see him shoot that jetpack and say, okay, I'm going to take a fire at this. And you do go back and look at it a second time, and he is aiming at the other one. He hits the top one and it falls into the.
Where did you get the other missile? The new missile from? Because did they not use that missile on the Dragon?
I don't know.
And did Jango have a spare missile in his, or Mando didn't have a spare missile in his Razor Crest and reloaded it? Like
he had to reloaded it. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's just a Mandalorian missile, so maybe he did. I don't know. Who knows what the armor gave him down in there?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, this leads to the nice shot. Hey, howdy, hey, Dave. It leads to the nice shot. I was aiming for the other one, which is followed by, to me, the worst scene in this movie that just made me go, aha, no.
Nice shot. I was aiming for the other one.
The blast from Gideon's ship.
Oh. Man. That's gut-wrenching.
That ship was awesome. I was just getting used to that ship. All the models that they came out with it. I got my Lego set. I love the Razor.
Well, you can take your Lego set apart now to make it canon. Just have the pieces around.
Assemble it, put it in the bag, and it'll be canon again.
Yeah.
That hurt, man. It hurt watching that. I'm telling you, it hurt.
the Razor Crest is the easiest Lego set to assemble to make it canon ever.
Yeah.
You just take it out the bag.
Just take it out of the bag and put it on the ground.
Scatter it around.
To me, that was the tragedy. That's the tragedy right there to me. It's like,
tragedy number one.
You got to be kidding me. But of course, that wasn't the tragedy. The tragedy was that after Grogu made his connection and did all these things, he fell asleep, and Gideon's guys came and got him, which sort of stunk, but it's what happened.
Oh,
The Empire. They're back.
that can't be. The Outer Rim is under the jurisdiction of the New Republic.
This isn't a spice dream.
No spice dream, man. I'm not on drugs.
No, he just beat the snot out of 15 stormtroopers. And only now he realizes they're back?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Stan. It's a really good point. So Boba gets his armor back, and maybe this is another really cool scene in this in the
I need to take a
film,
look at something.
in the entire thing. Oh wait, before I get there, this is where he shows him his lineage.
Yeah, chain code. Yeah.
The chain code.
See, this is me, Boba Fett.
All right, so here's what I've done for you guys. Check this out. See that chain code? Oh, wait a minute. I got it translated.
There we go.
So here's what we got. Foundling took into the year whatever. Concord Dawn. I'll talk about that in the other. Mentor Jest, Father Jango, Boba Fett. So Jest. Well, let's start with Concord Dawn. Concord Dawn's an outer rim planet that was ruled by the Mandalorians during the Empire when they were in charge. It's also, a couple episodes ago, we showed Sabine Wren giving the Darksaber to Bo-Katan. That's the planet where it happened. And apparently that's also where Jango Fett was born. The Mentor comes from a comic book. It's Jasper Morale, which comes from a Jango Fett comic from 2002, which was not canon. This is legend now. But in that comic book is where Jasper Morale finds Jango Fett as a kid and rescues him. And,
cool.
And he becomes. So that's kind of the connection there. But it's one of those things where this was legend because it was a 2002 comic book, which is now getting pulled back into canon. So I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Which is
And
big.
that armor belongs to you.
I appreciate its return.
The child's gone.
Until he is returned to you safely, we are in your debt.
It's an interesting spot in here because it shows you how honorable and kind of Mandalorian he actually is. Because nothing before this point in Boba Fett's history would tell you whether or not he's honorable. We know he's a bounty hunter, which is probably not the most honorable profession.
No, it's for hire. Whoever pays you,
right?
You're gonna work for.
So, but you know him showing how honorable he actually is, and he's gonna, even though the Mando's willing to kind of, okay, this is what you done, and he's like, no, we're gonna help you.
Yeah, I love it.
And not only that, when you go back, he offered that he'll protect the child for the armor, and they got interrupted. They never did get a chance.
They got interrupted
to finalize that deal.
By the Empire showing up because they were tracking the Razor Crest because remember they had the tracking beacon on it, which is how we knew exactly where it was to take it out, which was cool. So Boba Fett's and Fennec are on his side, and he's got to go find an old friend to get some information because now he's got to find the child, so he needs to find Moff Gideon.
Cara Dune.
So the prison registry is really interesting to me, especially with the Investor Day announcement.
Last name Mayfeld.
But this is what I wanted to point out. These are all of the prisoners that went by in that registry. And every one of those translate to a name. And think of all these characters and think of what Disney announced with all of these new series. So when you think of something, and I'll jump ahead, even when I would have talked about it yet, when you think about Rangers of the New Republic, they got to catch all these guys, man. Look at all the stories that are here. It's amazing. To me, I'm going, dang. Look, there's a Moncala in there. There's a Sand Person in there. There's a Walrus Man in there. I'm like, oh, man, this is awesome.
What is interesting, though, is how most of them are alien races and not human. And if you remember back to the school, it was all humans in the school.
It was all human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's
so
a couple of them, but you're right.
It gives you like a feeling of what the Star Wars universe is about, as you know.
Yeah. It's I get it. All right, so I thought that was cool because it connects to all the other stuff. Then we see the child having some fun for Grogu at the end.
Grogu playing.
Yeah. He's like, let him go. See what he can do.
Grogu.
Let him go.
Chapter stop. Wait.
Boom. I think he knows he's going to get tired after he does it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, okay, whatever. Then, unfortunately, the next time we see him, he looks like this.
Yeah.
Which stinks, and we got it, and okay. Now, here's the only thing that I want to point out. And it's something that I came to before I saw some others doing it. But remember when Ahsoka first met Grogu, she said, I sense much fear in you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can't train him. I sense much fear. And it took me back to Yoda, right? Fear's the path of the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. He has fear. Was he just angry smashing them stormtroopers together?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't buy it. Ed kind of went there with that in our private conversation, in our chat.
Got it.
Ed kind of went through that same direction. Well, is he? I think that's just. I think that's his basic instincts. I think that's just survival tactics that he's showing there.
It could also be Filoni sending us down that path and then pulling us out of it.
That's what it's most likely is Filoni sending us down the path. But honestly, the only thing missing was the Force lightning coming out of his fingers at that point. He was choking stormtroopers and everything.
That is funny. All right, so at the end of that chapter, we have Bo-Katan still looking for the Darksaber. Gideon's happy, and now we got Mando, Cara, Fennec, and Boba Fett looking for Grogu. Is really what it comes down to. And to find Grogu, they're going to have to find Gideon, and that comes down to chapter 15, which is the Believer. That's Fennec there, and they need to get that Miggs Mayfield, who's the dude that was from the Prisoner episode in the first chapter. And I thought this scene was just cool. The
super cool
junkyard.
Yeah, this is super cool.
The Imperial junkyard with all those TIE fighters and the AT-ATs that are cranes, and it's just cool as can be.
Yeah,
it's a really cool scene. And of course, they get him out of there. They find him. They convince him to come with them.
I love his character. I think Bill Burr is amazing. I think whoever cast that he's awesome.
Yeah, he completely stole this chapter.
It was his chapter. I completely agree. Agree.
And a lot of character growth in this chapter on the Imperials and on Mayfield in particular.
Yeah. Yep. Even Cara Dune too, to some extent.
Yeah.
And even Mando.
And Mando, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, he took his helmet off, for geez.
Yeah, he had to. So I'm not going to get into every point of this one, but I'll get into a few here. This was what I thought was one of the coolest things out there. When Slave One takes off, and we've always seen it before, but then they show you the inside, and you see it burning. Oh, man, my mind was blown. Fett punching the coordinates before.
And Fett's armor being all cleaned up.
It is cleaned up.
Yeah.
It is really cleaned up. One of the first things I noticed, too, about that, Stan.
Yeah,
really
he cleaned up nice.
Really, really cleaned up. Then, of course, he needed to infiltrate because he was going to go with him. So he ends up putting on, I don't know what type of a trooper that is, but pretty cool.
Transport trooper.
I like it.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, you know what it absolutely could be. And that leads us to, the pirates that are coming after the highly volatile gear, and they decided to transport it. So
I don't think they were pirates. I think they were just locals. They're just trying to keep these people off their planet because they weren't trying to steal it. They were trying to blow it up.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cool part of all this is when they finally make it in, they're like saluted by the Empire. I love Mayfield.
Mayfield, put your damn helmet back on. And it's like these people don't want to wear their masks. Put your mask on.
Never thought you'd be happy to see stormtroopers. That was that's a good line.
Yeah.
So
and they need it. Go, Jimmy.
This reminded me of an episode of Clone Wars that I just saw recently. And I can't remember the little guy's name, but he's a little general or a colonel, and he's with the droids on that sand planet, and they were mining rhodonium just like this, and they end up finding one of the clone troopers who had amnesia. But it was very similar to this. I'm wondering if it was on that same planet.
Yeah, you got to run it. I love those tie-ins. I absolutely do.
Yeah.
so these guys go through a whole bunch of stuff, and they have to go to the officers' mess hall, and ultimately there is the hookup, and they got to go and get facial recognition. So this one was kind of interesting to me because Mando goes over, they scan his helmet, doesn't work, but then it does work. So is he in the registry somewhere, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you don't need to have a registered face; you just need to have a face.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So
Wow.
basically, he's getting the location for Gideon, and now he knows where he is. The fact that I'm like, he's gonna get busted. He's gonna get busted. This is gonna go bad. What's gonna happen? Well, it ends up going bad anyway, right? Because the officer corners them, and so there's a whole bunch that happens there. But I'm gonna skip.
So
ahead.
what do you? Let me just ask a quick question. What do you think?
Sure.
And Ed posed this question in our chat. What do you think about him taking his helmet off?
I think it shows his commitment to Grogu. He had to.
I think that's
no choice.
That was one of my things. It shows that he'll do anything for this child. I also think that not too long ago, he realized that he was part of like an extremist cult.
Yeah.
That not all Mandalorians didn't take their helmets off. That, so that also might have woken him up a little bit. That he goes, you know what? This isn't just the Mandalorian thing. This is only a small sect of Mandalorian that don't take
I'm
their
thinking if he never met Cara Dune, he may have just taken his gun out and pointed at Mayfield and said, "Do it."
Yeah.
As opposed to agreeing to do it himself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mind you didn't have a gun because he threw it away.
That's
grabbed
right.
Mayfield's gun.
So they go through a whole bunch of stuff here, and then ultimately it's Slave One to the rescue. And this was that character development you were talking about there, Stan.
Yeah.
The fact that he's like, I'm going to take the whole damn thing out.
Yeah. And just even talking to that Imperial officer in the break room.
Yeah.
You got a lot of character development there too.
Yes, absolutely. That was cool.
They'll kill him off next week.
Maybe, man. I don't know. It could happen. It could happen because
I think he's going to join those locals, and we're going to end up seeing him on either Ahsoka or on the Rangers.
The Rangers, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up joining those local pirates.
It'd be on the Rangers. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Rangers, the New Republic. So now that I think the quote that Kara had after this, now what do we do? And Mando put together his little message for Gideon.
It was great. It was great.
I love this.
It was so cool. I was on the edge of my seat listening
You
to
have
this.
something I want.
Okay, so here's what I did. You guys haven't seen this yet. Chapter 15, The Believer. Chapter 7, The Reckoning, next to each other.
You should see this.
Moff Gideon.
You have something I want. You may think you have some idea of what you're in possession of, but you do not. In a few moments,
He will be back with me. He means more to me
than
you will ever know.
I just thought that was so cool.
That just puts a smile on my face. Good job. Good job.
Right next to each other. It's a little bit different because Gideon refers to Grogu as "it will be with me," and Mando says he will be with me shortly, and it's just that was just cool. I love it, and it takes us to tomorrow, man. Holy cow! I might have to stay up tonight. What's the
finale?
It's the finale for the season. What's going to be the season cliffhanger? I don't know. There's so much going on.
And I usually get up early and watch it, but I got to work super early tomorrow. So,
all right. So we covered 2 episodes, and we got a little bit of time left. That's cool. Keep going here, Jimmy. We good? Because we are going to talk investor.
I wanted to look up his quote that I saw.
Who's Mando's or Gideon or
Giancarlo Esposito?
Oh, okay.
Moff Gideon. I can't find it. I'll find it for you guys later. But it was something about, they had him quoted because 2 of his daughters are they're fans of the show, and they called me and like they sent me messages, "Don't hurt the child," and he's like, "How bash his head in."
I saw the same thing. Talk about the bad guy through and through. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah,
to see how it works
it
out.
was great. So,
all right, Investor Day. Investor Day for the Disney Company was huge. In Investor Day, they talked about 10 new Star Wars series. Lucasfilms talked about a whole bunch of stuff. I wanted to touch base on these because my mind was ready to explode for some of these. And it actually had me go back to the timeline we talked about a couple of weeks ago, because how did these things fit, right? So let's start with a clip from Kathleen Kennedy, if that's cool.
Today, I'm excited to share with you that John and Dave are concurrently developing 2 new spin-off series exclusively for Disney+. One, The Rangers of the New Republic, and
Nice.
the other featuring fan favorite Ahsoka Tano. Set within the timeline of The Mandalorian, these interconnected shows, along with future stories, will excite new audiences, embrace our most passionate fans, and will culminate in a climactic story event.
She's talking about us.
Chapter will debut on Disney Plus Christmas of 2021.
All right, so Christmas of next year we got before this comes out.
Season 3.
Well, the next chapter of whatever this is, because basically what she just said is we have Ahsoka and the Rangers of the New Republic are both here at the same timeline as the Mandalorian and interconnected with the Mandalorian. That's awesome, which will culminate in some big event, which is like, holy cow, this is a page right out of the Marvel thing, right?
Right. This is definitely a page out of both the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well as the Marvel Netflix series, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and they all culminated, Luke Cage, they all culminated in one show called The Defenders. So, yeah, this is a page right out of that book. And just the fact, look, she had to say nothing else other than John and Dave.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm in, right?
And we're in. Yes. We're in.
Because
absolutely.
You know who one of the biggest people who made Marvel such a success is Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. His work on Iron Man. All of them. Yes.
Movies, and he was involved in a lot of those movies and the storytelling and all that stuff.
And these are awesome. So I just think of that. So my questions before, where's Bo-Katan and Ahsoka? Well, they're in the Ahsoka series is where they're going to be, right? Rangers of the New Republic. That's the Canadian gentleman that we got in the orange suit that was walking around who just recruited Cara Dune and maybe ends up with the other guy catching all those bad guys. There's so many interconnections here. It's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, when Mando said to Cara, "Oh, I heard you're on the straight and narrow now." There's a story behind that. It's just so cool. It's just so cool. I absolutely love it. All right. There's one more huge piece of news that was in there that I think some people might have missed, but this is regarding stagecraft and the volume.
On The Mandalorian Season 2, we expanded stagecraft's capabilities further and built an even larger volume. Additionally, we are building 3 more volumes right now in Los Angeles, London, and Australia, advancing the Disney-owned technology and building the studio of the future. We have a vast and expansive timeline in the Star Wars mythology, spanning over 25,000 years of history in the galaxy. With
So Disney owns the technology, stagecraft, which is the volume, and they're building 3 more of these things.
Yeah.
Just that's the success of it, and Disney owns the technology, so nobody else can do this. So think about, and I'm not just talking Star Wars, I'm talking any film. Wow.
Oh yeah, they'll be renting those stages out to every production that is willing to pay.
Well, I'm even thinking just Marvel and Disney television, and I'm just thinking that in general, all of the Disney properties. Why go outside of it? Use it for your properties first to get this momentum and continue the Disney Plus train that just keeps rolling, man. It's awesome.
I mean, you got to think beyond movies.
Yes,
theme park experiences and stuff like that. Things that you can incorporate this volume and make these. If they own the technology and they own the studios, they can make theme park attractions.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Soarin', but in 360 degrees because they created it with the volume?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, yeah,
it's great. It's nuts. It's the best. And that piece of news just blew my mind in there, by the way.
One of the most exciting and
here's another
ambitious
one they
new
were working
series
on.
we have coming to Disney Plus in 2022 is Andor.
2022.
A tense, nail-biting spy thriller in the Star Wars universe, created by Tony Gilroy. Tony's incredible success with the Bourne Identity films distinguishes him as one of today's best creators of the modern spy genre.
Okay, so if and we knew this was coming, right? We had an untitled Cassian series.
Yeah.
We know now that is Andor. But if Mandalorian is a space western, now you got a Star Wars spy movie. You just bring a different genre into the Star Wars universe.
And by the way, what's amazing is he's already a somewhat developed character, and you know a little bit about him, and he's amazing in that.
Yes.
In Rogue One.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they interviewed him. There's a sizzle clip, and in fact, it's at StarWars.com right now. They talked to him, and he talked about going to Rogue One when they introduced it. It was bittersweet because his character ultimately didn't survive the movie, but now here he is going, "Wow, this is great," because we got this whole series coming.
That's good stuff.
So that's cool. So we had another series we knew was in the making, the Obi-Wan series. So what did we learn about that?
Last August at the D23 Expo in Anaheim, we announced the return of Ewan McGregor in the iconic role of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi for a special event series on Disney+. Obi-Wan Kenobi begins 10 years after the dramatic events of Revenge of the Sith, where he faced his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi apprentice, Anakin Skywalker turned evil Sith Lord, Darth Vader. Our fans will be thrilled that Hayden Christensen will be returning in the role of Darth Vader. This will be the rematch of the century. The series is directed by Deborah Chow, coming off the great work she did with us as a director on season 1 of The Mandalorian. Production will begin in March of next year. Here's an early look at Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Which, of course, they didn't show us because it was blocked out.
Yeah.
So the Obi-Wan series, then, we know now that it is going to be called Obi-Wan, and we also know that it's 10 years after the events of Episode 3, so it puts it at 9 BBY. So that's kind of cool. And Hayden Christensen's back to play Vader.
So Luke will be like 10 years old at this point.
Yeah.
The Kenobi series. Luke and Leia, if we ever meet a Leia.
Yes, and that could be
on. Yeah.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan should, in theory, be watching a 10-year-old Luke, 10 to 11-year-old Luke on Tatooine somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat to think about.
We see. Yeah. Do we know when? Obi-Wan kills? I guess it's after that, huh? When he kills Maul.
It was in Rebels, so it was out here.
So a little bit later.
Yeah, it's a little bit later.
Though.
Not
so
much
Rebels
later,
start
4 years later.
4 years later, but it could carry that.
Maul should be somewhere in Crimson Dawn, someplace, because that's right it's right near the Solo movie.
Yeah,
right. And so, in theory, Maul should be leading Crimson Dawn, the criminal syndicate. Pretty cool. I love how it's all coming together. The other one we knew about was the Bad Batch. I think this is a short
Building
clip
on the
that.
legacy of the Clone Wars, our new animated series, The Bad Batch.
This one's animated, and we knew that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
Clone Force 99.
Clone Force 99.
New missions in a rapidly changing galaxy.
So that's a Bad Batch is coming. We know that, and we knew about that one.
So I wonder if this is before you see them in the Clone Wars or after? Like, does this lead up? Because if it's after, then, Echo becomes part of the ARC Trooper. Echo becomes part of the Bad Batch.
I don't know.
Because he leaves with them.
I went with the about 18 BBY based on the fact that the Bad Batch was in the last Clone Wars season.
Yeah, somewhere in that. Yeah, it's going to be close.
With that. It's around in there somewhere.
Yeah, I guess we'll know if we see Echo right away or not, where the timeline will be.
Yeah. You're right. I just think it was cool. All right, what's the next one? Oh, I think I have 2 in this clip here, which is
Star
pretty
Wars
cool.
Visions will be a series of animated short films celebrating the Star Wars galaxy through the lens of the world's best anime creators. This anthology collection will bring 10 fantastic visions.
10
from
visions.
Several of the
Interesting.
leading Japanese anime studios, offering a fresh and diverse cultural perspective to Star Wars. Lando Calrissian is the
And Lando,
galaxy's
baby.
smoothest, most notorious
Oh, yeah.
scoundrel, and he'll return in a brand new event series for Disney+. Justin Simien, creator of the critically acclaimed and hugely popular Dear White People, is developing the story with us now. A massive Star Wars fan himself, Justin has put together a reel to give you a sense of the style, tone, and irresistible swagger
Of Lando Calrissian. And of course, we didn't have that reel either.
Yeah.
So
So visions, they said there'd be 10 different visions. Does that
10
mean
different visions.
So it is going to be a different chapter, different vision? That's why I read that.
That's what I got. A different
I would think
anime
it's
thing.
10 episodes, and they cover different things.
Yeah. Each one will be its own story.
Yeah. I put it up there with
Another-
a question mark. Who knows?
I don't know if you plan to cover it in this, Sam, but another thing that we found out today that the Star Wars gallery for Mandalorian
yeah.
season 2 will begin. First episode will be launched Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, nice. I did not. I knew that was coming. I didn't have it in here, Jimmy, because that was so new, and I was staying away from it. In fact, it's kind of funny when they were doing the Investor Day. They had a Mandalorian trailer where they were showing season 2, and I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But they didn't show anything that hadn't aired yet. But I was worried about that for a second. So Visions, I just put it up here in a question mark because we got no idea what that's going to do. And Lando, when you start to think about it, this guy has been around a long time. So I'm figuring it's anywhere from 22 BBY all the way through to The Last Jedi, because he was in The Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
He's in Solo as a young man. So he was in Power and The Empire Strikes Back at Cloud City. So that guy's around for most of this timeline. I'm going to assume it's the young Han Solo, but that's an assumption I'm making. Or the young Lando. That's an assumption. I don't know.
That's what I figured it would be. I hope they get
That's
down.
what the comics are. There's a
Danny
comic
Glover
series that follows him there. Yeah, the Danny
I
Glover.
liked the depiction of him in the Solo movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it gave you some good insight to who he used to be with the capes and the,
Yeah, he's awesome.
When she's on the Millennium Falcon, he goes, he has a lot of capes. It's
And he's in every orientation. Doesn't matter whether you're male, female, or droid. He's he's ready to go.
That's right. That's exactly right, man. All right, this one was interesting here.
Leslie Headland, Emmy-nominated creator of the mind-bending series Russian Doll, is a boldly innovative filmmaker bringing her new Star Wars series to Disney+. The Acolyte is a mystery thriller that will take us into a galaxy of shadowy secrets.
The Acolytes. Interesting.
Do you have any insight into that, Sam?
The only thing that she went on to say was that it was based towards the end of the High Republic era, which is 300 to 100 BBY. So if it's the end of the High Republic area, it's way off this timeline to the left, which is a whole bunch of characters that we haven't seen in film. We've only seen in video games and things like that.
We'll have Baby Yoda in this one. The real Baby Yoda.
The real Baby Yoda, yeah.
Right.
That's funny. This one, I'm actually interested in this one.
To develop new stories, the intersection of animation and visual effects offers new opportunities for us to explore. Lucasfilm Animation will be teaming up with our unparalleled visual effects team ILM to develop a special Star Wars adventure for Disney+.
A droid story. I don't know if this is a film or if it's a series.
Introduce us to a new hero.
I think it's animated shorts, is my impression.
Okay.
R2-D2 and C-3PO on a special mission known only to them. What could possibly go wrong?
So that's another one where you can put this absolutely any place on this timeline. I don't know where it's going to land. It could land
have
anywhere.
to be after Episode 1 because C-3PO was.
That's when
born.
That's when Anakin built C-3PO. Yeah, it'd have to be after 1, but then it could be pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
What do we have after that?
Recently, we're currently developing a brand new Star Wars feature with acclaimed filmmaker,
Feature
Academy
film?
Award winner, Taika
She said feature.
Taika's approach to Star
Does
Wars
this mean
will
movie
be
theaters?
fresh, unexpected, and unique. His enormous talent
Or Disney Plus Premium
will ensure that audiences are
Or
in
both.
for an unforgettable ride. He's currently hard at work writing this next adventure. And to
Okay.
close today,
Then this one.
I couldn't be more excited that our next Star Wars feature film
This
will
is a
be
feature film
directed by Patty Jenkins.
coming to theaters.
Patty, director of the Wonder Woman franchise, will bring her inspired vision to Rogue Squadron. This story will introduce a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives in a boundary-pushing high-speed thrill ride. The legend of Rogue Squadron has been long beloved by Star Wars fans and will move us into a future era of the galaxy. Rogue Squadron will be released in theaters Christmas of 2023.
Oh, that's 2 years.
I know. I got to
3
tell my
years.
boss. I need a week off in
I need the week
2023.
off. That's funny. All right, so I think a droid story. I don't know where that one goes. After that, Rogue Squadron fits down here on the movie timeline. I'm going to assume it's somewhere down in here, Rogue One and Solo, but I don't know.
That'd be my guess.
And
It's
this
got to
whole...
it's got to be after Rogue One.
Okay.
Because the Rogue One was tongue-in-cheek reference to Rogue Squadron from The Empire Strikes Back fighting the AT-ATs.
Right. Yes.
So the Rogue One was almost tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, we're Rogue One. So there really wasn't a Rogue thing. Like it was fan play, kind of a joke to all of us. So I would, who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. But
I
and then
would
this
say
other
it has
thing,
to be somewhere in the original, after Rogue One, somewhere.
I don't know where to put it. I just know it's underneath the line with if we're separating these based on feature films, and the top is your animations and series and things like that. So, but at the end of the day, that's what Lucas did. And by the way, Lucas also talked about Willow, and they also have there was another production here that was not Star Wars, but I don't see it right now.
It was Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, Indy Jones isn't there? Indiana Jones, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which how cool is this? And it just continues to capitalize on that picture we started with, right? This is your High Republic era all the way back here. All these people back
Everybody
here.
move over a bit when we got to make room for Accolade.
We got to make room. Yes, we got to make room. Look out, new characters coming, and there's a whole bunch more up here because this was just season 1 of Mando. Now you got to put,
Boba
you got to
Fett
put.
and
Well, Boba's here, but he's got to
Hera.
come back here. And it's just amazing.
the older Boba Fett.
It's so much fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
This
the
is
new
all so
Boba
much fun. Oh,
The new clean Boba Fett.
the clean Boba Fett. Yes, nice and green. Repainted the mask up. Is Boba Fett's mask Beskar? I didn't think it was.
I would imagine it is.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, because the Mandalorian, his original armor was not Beskar.
Yeah. True enough.
Right.
True enough.
She replaced it with Beskar after he brought her Beskar.
Yeah.
Right. So,
But if it's third generation, you think it would be at this point.
You think so? Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those
like
things.
he's a foundling, like Din was a foundling at the beginning of when he's the first one of his timeline.
I mean, again, brings back to the question of the dent. So that would tell you.
Yeah.
What dent did it? Yeah.
I mean, if it's repelling lightsabers, what does it take to put a dent in the helmet like that?
Yeah, you're right. Another piece of Beskar.
Yeah, that's the only thing so that we know of.
And it's also interesting that it dented it, but the paint's still intact.
Yeah, you would think it would be, unless he repainted over it. It's hard to
In
tell.
the dent, it would be like silver or.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking for tomorrow? What are you thinking out of chapter 16? What's the cliffhanger? Any predictions? I don't know, man. This one, I don't even know.
I know. How do you? Is he going to get the child back? Is he going to be without the child at the end of the episode or the chapter?
I think that's the big question. Is he with or without Grogu at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
Is this the last?
It's the last of season 2.
Yeah. Man, this went quick.
Fast.
Now, I don't know. Was it true or not that season 3 is going to be a prequel? to season 1?
I have not heard that.
Or is that just rumor?
I haven't heard anything official on season 3.
Okay. I can't picture that. Especially if
I mean, the story arc of Grogu and Mando has to continue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing
They'd lose
story.
so many viewers if they didn't have Grogu in season 3.
I guess it also depends on how well they wrap things up for the season tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. How many? There's going to be loose ends. There's going to be loose ends.
My wife is watching Star Wars for the first time in her life. And I've had more people talk to me about Star Wars at work than in my entire career. And it's all because of Grogu. But they're enjoying the show as well. I mean, like, my wife is excited. She said, "I'm going to wake you up at 3:00 in the morning so we can watch it." I said, "Well, hang on, I gotta go to work early tomorrow."
I have disconnected myself from social media on Friday mornings. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not looking at anything. I don't want to have anything spoiled for me. I want to.
For the most part, I think most people are pretty respectful.
Yeah,
there's a few people.
All it takes is one. Somebody spoiled the death of Han for me before. I went opening night, midnight, and someone spoiled the death of Han for me.
That stinks, man. Sorry.
On a Facebook Live feed that had nothing to do with Star Wars. It was just a friend of mine was at Disney World doing a Facebook Live, and some numbnuts came on and said, he typed, "Han gets killed by his son."
Jeez.
Yeah, the day before the movie came out.
That stinks.
So then when you get there, you find out that Ben Solo was Han's son. So when on that bridge, I already knew when I was on the bridge.
Yeah, that stinks. Yeah. I disconnect myself. I don't want to see anything.
Well, I figured it'd be safe to watch a buddy of mine at Disney World doing a live stream on Facebook with 12 viewers.
I get it. All right. Guys, we're right at an hour, and we covered all those things. I didn't think we could.
I didn't think you get it all.
That should have been 2 shows. Maybe it should have been 2 shows. I'm not sure because I you know what I mean. I don't know.
Stan, you say you haven't finished the first season of Galleries?
No,
you need to do that.
I was showing my wife the volume episode of Galleries, and you know how it shows whether you watched them or not. And I thought I did, but I guess I watched them up to a point, and then I stopped. I missed like the last 3 episodes.
You need to watch them.
So yeah, I'm going to go back and watch
to see season 2 and what more they did for season 2.
Yeah. No, that's going to be if I ever get a day off viewing.
Well, the holidays are coming, then you should be okay after.
The holidays are the worst time for me. There's no such thing as holidays.
I know.
You know what he said right now. But once you get past it, you should open up a little bit. Once we get past the holidays, your schedule may open up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll watch them. I'll get to them for sure.
Good.
I'll make time for them.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you letting me talk Star Wars and show you the presentation I put together and all the little clips I pulled together. I love it. I get so fired up about it. And I don't know, man. Do we need to circle back sooner after we watch Chapter 16? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Maybe we do a quick thing.
I'm in.
It would be maybe.
You do something quick. I don't know when. We'll figure it out.
What next week will be tough. We already have the Disney podcast.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm thinking more. It's we've been going every other Thursday, and 2 Thursdays from now is New Year's Eve, so that's not going to be happening.
I'm not going anywhere Christmas Day other than watching Soul and Galleries.
There you go.
I canceled here.
Oh, that's right.
Watch next week for this tomorrow. Wear 2 pairs of socks because you get 1 pair blown off. That's all I got to say for.
I like that. So we'll be back live on the 7th. We'll have some more Star Wars news and that for you guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. I'm going to play the goodbye or may the force be with you. So Jimmy, thank you. Stan,
thank you. May the force be with you.
You got anything?
May the force be with you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching and listening to WRRT Womp Rat Radio Tatooine.
Goodbye, old friend. May the force be with you.
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 May the force be with us all.
And may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. May the force be with you.
May the force be with us.
May the force be with you. And may the force be with us.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you both.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
The Force will be with you. Always. Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with us.